Hello, everyone, and thank you for coming to this webinar. I'm Ben. I've also got Drew here today.
Hi, how are you?
We're going to talk a little bit about Microsoft Teams today and sort of show you how we've started trying to use it in Woodthorpe IT. I'll start off by saying to you that I have trainers who go out and deliver this. I am not an expert, so I'm showing you how we've tried to use it and what we've learned, how we're trying to adopt it in Woodthorpe IT. So, with that in mind, any questions that come up, if I can't answer them straight away, what we'll do, we'll probably do a follow-up webinar where we'll find out the answers and come back to you, or send you, something via email, so there's something for you to have a little bit of a chew at. Just a little bit of housekeeping as well. What we're going to do after the webinar session, I'm going to send you like a one-page, almost like a cheat sheet, sort of explaining a little bit about Microsoft Teams. We'll also send you a recording as well of this webinar, because I'm currently recording the webinar. Just double check that I am. Yeah, which I am recording it, so you'll get a recording of that. Also throughout the webinar as well, any questions you've got, you should somewhere on your webinar software have the ability to click Q&A, and it's a little bit like a text message sort of thing or a WhatsApp. Just type your question, ask all the way through, and as I'm doing the webinar, I'll kind of look to see if there's any questions, and at a reasonable point, I'll try and answer whatever questions have come up, or if it's something I can't answer, I'll say on screen and we'll come back to you. Okay, so don't worry about having to make notes as you go along. You'll get information after the session. So what's the webinar about? Microsoft Teams. So first of all, why am I interested in Microsoft Teams for Woodthorpe IT? So internally, we have a lot of emails flying around, a lot of documents flying around. We all have to work together quite a lot. And we all sometimes work in different places. So sometimes it can be quite hard coordinating that with emails, Might be, we're coming up with a new course outline, and it might involve me and Drew or Gemma to talk about it. And the emails that alone can generate just for one thing, it can be crazy. So we started having a little bit of a look at other options, and Microsoft Teams is a pretty good option for this, a way of reducing this sort of flow of emails and making things a bit slicker. So, what is Teams? So Teams, if you're using Skype for Business, Teams is what they are eventually going to replace Skype for Business with. Now, you might not be aware of this, but eventually, if you're on Office 365 and you're relying on Skype for Business, they are eventually going to turn that off, okay? And Teams is what you're going to use. And that can sound a bit daunting, but in actual fact, that it's really good, because you'll see as I show you this, Teams is actually, it kind of kicks Skype's ass a little bit. It does a lot more stuff. It's way better, right? So what does Teams do? So Teams is, you can chat, you can do video calls, you can set up meetings, which can involve chat, video calls, working on documents. You can store documents. Anything you put in a chat gets stored into a particular area, so it organizes things as you go along as well. The really cool thing about Teams as well is, whatever you do, well, not every single thing, but quite a lot of what you do in Teams, a SharePoint site is created automatically, and things get published into SharePoint as well. So if in your organization you're using SharePoint, if you use Teams, it hooks in with SharePoint. So it's kind of like a double whammy, really. It's really, really useful. But the main thing about it is it's kind of reducing emails. You can use this to talk to each other, collaborate on documents, and work together. Also, one of the things that we've found this to be good with is we're getting some, shall we say, a bit of younger blood come into the team, and they don't necessarily always like emails, and they're used to using, say, WhatsApp, chat. This is a good way of kind of including them in the office and working with them a little bit slicker. So that's like a little bit of a background of why and what it is and why we're interested in it. And what we're going to do in a minute, we're going to have a bit of a go. I'm going to show you it rather than just waffle on. And the things I'm going to show you is I'm going to sort of demonstrate, roughly speaking, what a team is, okay? We're going to have a little bit of a look at meetings, and I'm also going to show you something called tabs. And I won't lie to you, by no means is this everything it does. It does way more than I'm showing you in this webinar, but this will give you a bit of a flavour for it. Throughout this as well, I'll demonstrate a little bit, and then Drew is going to sort of do little bits as well, as if we're having a conversation. So we'll probably chat as we go through stuff, and you'll get to, obviously you see my ugly mug now, but you'll get to see Drew a bit later on when we do a meeting. There's Drew Lego. So I tell you what, I'm going to take my face off the screen so we can concentrate on actually looking at Teams. So you'll probably be glad to see I've gone, and let's have a little bit of a look at Teams. Okay, so let me just get rid of this. Oh, look at me. How great am I? Let me just mention one thing. Let me just do one very, very quick plug before I show you. If you like what you see on the webinar, we can come to you and do training. You can come to us and have training courses at our venue. We also have an online library of training content, which you can put in your LMS. And we also do this kind of training now, but we can do it bespoke for your organization on whatever you want. We can also help you with all of these different Office applications and many, many more. Plug over, let's have a look at Teams. There we go. So this is Teams. Now, it's part of Office 365. So if you've got a subscription, most of the business plan subscriptions will give you this as an option. There's a free version of this, which I must admit, I've not touched. So I'm actually on a full business licensed Office 365 account. So I can't talk to the differences there, but let's have a look at what we've got. So what I've got down the left, can you see here, I've clicked into a section called Teams. Now I've got one there called Making Woodthorpe IT Slicker. This is what we're playing around with, see how we can use this in Woodthorpe IT. And I've got one here called Teams Demo, which is a team that I've set up for the purpose of showing you Microsoft Teams. Now the idea of this is teams are think of them as a collection of people that are going to work together for a particular task or eventual outcome. Maybe you've got a team that you've put together where you want to talk about improving the marketing within the business, or maybe there's a team where you're talking about how you're going to engage with charities, or maybe you've got an event you're putting on. Now, I'll show you using a team, and later on I'll show you creating a team. It's dead easy. But the idea here is when I click into a team, I've got below it, can you see there, Team Demo, there's one there called General. These are channels, so we can kind of subdivide a team up. So let's say this was marketing. We could have a channel for talking about the website, talking about printed marketing, maybe talking about, I don't know, maybe we're doing events and stuff. So you can subdivide it further, but I'm just going to stick with the one at the moment. Now, in each one of these channels, which again, we've only got one at the moment, can you see here, if I look on the right-hand side, I've got a section here where I've got conversations, files, and one called Wiki, and there's a plus button. The bulk of what you're going to be doing is going to be in this conversation section. So here we go. Let's say, and I've got me and Drew in this team, and we'll talk about who's a member of a team and how we add them a bit later on. But let's say I want to talk to the team. I'm going to say, how are you all getting on with the new Office 365 course outline? So normally that would have been an email that perhaps I would have sent to Drew and also Gemma in the office. They would both get an email and they might reply to me individually, forget to hit reply all or whatever it is. So now let's say Drew wants to come back to me and sort of talk about this. You know, Drew's going to come back and type a little bit about what he's been doing now. Cool thing about doing it this way is that rather than everyone having their own emails, we've now got a section where we're all talking about the same thing, and the history of that conversation is all in one place. So rather than having to, everyone's got their own individual email inbox and it all gets a bit disjointed, it's all in the one place. So here we go. So here we go. Can you see Drew's come back? I've finished it. Here we go. So I'm going to say reply to Drew. And can you see it's very much like text messages? Can you send it to me then, please? Right. And again, if let's say me, Drew, Gemma, one of the trainers is in this team, they would all see this. So now Drew's going to send me the outline, hopefully. And that should just come through any moment. He's just tapping away. So can you see here? Now, we've asked about all of this. Anyone in the team would be able to see this. Can you see there's my outline? And I can open it whenever I want. So if I click onto that, can you see it's opening the file itself? Here's the outline I can look at. Can you see it opens it all within Teams? Yeah, really nice and easy to use. I can look at that outline. Can you see the chat is still on the right? If I hit close, it comes out of there. And again, anyone in this particular team will see that entire conversation of, you know, here's the outline, what's been going on with it. But here's a really, really clever thing about this. If I now, can you see conversation? So this is a chat, our ongoing, what we're talking about. If I now go to files at the top, can you see now the file that Drew sent to me in the conversation is actually in the files tab. And I tell you something, this is something that I find a big pain in the backside when it comes to emailing when you're trying to work together. Everyone's got their own files, they're all over the place, and you have to remember to save all that stuff into a particular location. But just through naturally working together and talking about things and sending files between each other, there's now one area where anything that's been sent back and forth between the team, file-wise, these could be pictures, Word documents, whatever, it's all stored in that place. Here's the really cool thing about this. That, and some of you may know what I'm talking about here, some of you may not, that file is now in SharePoint because Teams is based on SharePoint. So if you were to go and log into SharePoint and you're a member of this team or you have permission to see this SharePoint site, that file with the Office 365 introduction will be in a document library inside SharePoint. So you get all the benefits of what SharePoint can offer as well. You can also, can you see here when I'm in files, I've got the option to upload, yeah? Can you see I can open it in SharePoint if I want to? If you want, look, add cloud storage. We can even add like Google Drive and all sorts of stuff in here and share that with the team as well. So can you see, accidentally, just by working, you're building up a library of content, things that you can then all have a little bit of a look at. So here we go. I'm going to reply to Drew. Or if you wanted to, look, I could just click straight in this box below. It's entirely up to you. This is going to reply to this kind of thread. But let's put in here, nice one, son, if I could spell. That is awesome. Let's start using it. Okay, now here we go. Here's something that some of you will think this is awesome. Some of you think, oh, I don't like this. If I now, can you see down below? And I'll show you how to attach a file in a minute as well, because I'll send something back to Drew. Can you see here, I've got like a little smiley face emoji. So again, if you're used to doing text messages, here we go. We can do a little smiley face if we want. Let's say I want it to be a little bit more sort of, you know, showing how I feel about it. Giphy, can you see there? We've got all of these GIF things here. So we can pick something that's, here we go, if I search in there. Well done. There we go, I don't know. Look at this. There we go, well done you. Again, look, if you don't like this for your organization, this can be turned on or off at an organization level. You can have control over this. I know some people out there will love this, like to be nice and informal. Some people will hate this, so you've got control over that. Also as well, can you see here, if I now go, see I've got like a little paper clip, attach. You can drag files in as well, but if I go to attach, let's go, look, I can go to my OneDrive if I want, I can go upload from my computer, I can browse the team channel and reattach something back into the conversation. I'll go and upload from my computer. Let's go and find something that I can send to Drew. Here we go. I've got a SharePoint Teams outline that I've been working on. This is to load into our training needs analysis system where we like send questions out. So I'm going to send that to Drew as well. Let's just put a little bit of a little bit of a note against this. That is the outline I am working on, for SharePoint. And again, Drew's going to get that. Everyone in the team is going to get that. If I now go back to files at the top, can you see SharePoint, OneDrive, Teams outline? And again, look, previously that was a PDF. This is actually an Excel file. If I click into that, it will open it in Teams. Yeah, it'll show you a view. Can you see there? There's my outline. This is us kind of playing around with some new content that we're working on, and a new like sort of online sort of content we've got to build. So this is kind of like a lot of planning for us. If you want, can you see there? Look, edit in Excel. I'm not going to show you this now because of our bandwidth, but I could edit this at the same time as Drew could be in it while we're talking to each other on a chat. Can you see start conversation? We can start talking about the document if we want to. The idea of this is, can you see, so far I've only really talked about chat, right? But can you see this is documentations, work together on files. It's the whole shebang. It's everything. It's really, really clever what you can do. So for us at Woodthorpe IT, that we feel is a good way to start talking together a bit better, reduce the amount of emails that are flowing back and forth between each other, and this kind of like ongoing working stuff, get it together a bit better so we're all got this access to the same stuff so we can work on it. But here's another thing that we've kind of got a little bit of a problem with how we work. I am all over the country sometimes. So one week I might be in the office working with Gemma and Drew. Another week I might be training, on site. And same with our trainers, and we might need to talk to each other. Well, what you've got the ability to do is you can have meetings where what you can do is you can either have an ad hoc meeting where we just do it on the fly, or we can schedule meetings. Oh, as well, just sorry to sidetrack. If anyone has any questions, feel free to just click on that Q&A, and we'll just let them stack up. And when I've got a bit of time, I will answer them. So yeah, look, meetings. Let's have a quick look at this. If I go to meetings just here, and I'm gonna show you me scheduling a meeting in, and then afterwards I'm gonna get Drew to schedule a meeting in so that we can see. And Drew's looking a little bit.
This is where it will go wrong.
I'm sure it won't. He'll smash it out of the park, I'm sure. So we'll schedule a meeting, and I'll also what I'll do as well. Obviously, Drew will schedule one. Then we'll have a go at actually having a meeting, and I can show you the video chat sort of stuff where we can like see each other's face. We can share desktops, all sorts of clever things in there. But if you look at this, I'm going to go to schedule a meeting. Okay. So let's say the title of this meeting is talk about SharePoint new course outlines and online content. Really snappy title. You're going to remember that one. So where do we want to have the meeting? Location. Yeah. If we had resources in our organisation like meeting rooms, they'd come up there, but we haven't added any in for this. We can come along, obviously, pick a time, pick a date, put some details in there. Here we go. Chat, Breeze, whatever you want to go for. Now, here's the cool thing. You can either, and you can do one or the other or both, select a channel. So can you see there's my Making Woodthorpe IT Slicker team. And if I pop that open, you see I've got a general and a test channel because we're just still playing around with this at the moment. Or Teams demo. Can you see general? And do you remember I said to you that could be marketing, and then under that could be like website, printed stuff, events. So you pick a channel you might want to post it in. Now, if you just pick a channel, it's going to, when you schedule this meeting, it's going to put it in the channel and tell people about the meeting, right? But it's not going to, it's just kind of like we're having a meeting, come if you want, don't come if you don't want to come. So you could do that. Let's say there's 100 people in your team, so it could be a big project. Not everyone's necessarily going to have to come to it, but you're putting it out there that come along if it's useful for you. And obviously you need to put more detail in there so you can see what the crack is. But then also beyond that, you've got the option of inviting people. So if I actually type in contact us, because that's Drew's email account, because he deals with basically everything that comes in really. So, he keeps the wheels on the bus really, to be fair. So I'm going to go contact us. That, if I now hit schedule, will definitely include Drew in the meeting, whether he has, he's kind of got a choice. He can decline it, but it's going to automatically add it in. Whereas if I didn't invite him and just put it in the channel, he'd have to seek it out, and it's kind of an optional thing, if you see. And then if I hit schedule, like so, and what I'll do is I'll leave Drew out of this for now, because I'm going to delete this meeting because I want to get Drew to schedule a meeting as well. If I now go to meetings just here, can you see that it goes into my tab just there? And it's very similar to what we're used to with Outlook. We've got the ability to cancel a meeting, we've got a list of who's coming, all that kind of stuff. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to cancel that. And Drew, while I'm doing that, could you just invite me to a meeting? So if you were to go into your Teams demo, meetings even. And then if you want to schedule a meeting in there. So while I cancel this, and incidentally, if people had been invited to that meeting, if I cancel it, it's going to tell them about this. Oh, can you see there? Cancelled meeting. Oh, Emily, got a question. Does it sync with Outlook? Yeah, really good question. Absolutely. It provided, obviously, look, we've got an Office 365 account where we're in an organization, a business account. So yes, it syncs for us. I can't talk to if you're going to plan on using a free version of it. We've not tested that, to be fair. But yeah, it does sync up with your Outlook. It's very similar to, your normal meeting invites. It kind of sends that back and forth as well, and all the cancellation stuff. Also, if I go back to my meetings here, and Drew's just set up a meeting here. See this one here, chat about IT training for contractors with Andy. That is not a Teams meeting. That's actually a meeting that I've done in Outlook, just as a normal meeting request. So anything you've put in your Outlook as, stuff you're doing in your calendar goes in your Teams, and vice versa. So it's really quite clever. Hope that answers your question, Emily. Again, look, anyone who has got a question, just tap it in there. One thing I did negate to mention earlier on, if you tap a question in, everyone's going to see a question. So just make sure that you keep it fairly generic. Dave's got, brilliant, Emily. So Dave's got a question in conversation. Right, Dave, I'm going to come back to that about the notifications. Let me just finish this with the meetings, and we'll go back, and there's something that's really cool when it comes to notifications. So leave that with me, and I will come back to you on that. So let's have a look at what Drew's done. I'm just going to go to my Teams just here, right? Now, because I was clicked into it, you didn't see, but earlier on, Teams demo kind of went black because, Drew's popped something into the team. And you can see here, look, here we go. Who thinks there should have been another thing? So Drew set up a meeting to talk about the A-Team in a new film. Brilliant. So if I now click onto this, right? Here we go. So Drew has just posted it to the channel. He has not physically invited me to it. So if I go back to my meetings, can you see the A-Team meeting isn't there? Who you're going to call. So if I click into this, so this is sort of like Drew just sort of posting it out there to the whole team. Well, can you see, look, I'm interested, add it to my calendar. Boom, right? So that now, if I close that down and go to meetings, can you see that A-Team? Yeah, in the Teams Demo General channel. And also, that would be in my Outlook calendar as well. Yeah. So what we'll do is, I think I'm going to boot Drew out. We'll have a little bit of a go with a video call now. So, and we'll see how this goes, because we've got quite a lot going on with our internet here. We'll see how this goes. We'll give you the idea. So Drew, if you want to go out in the corridor and join that meeting, we'll show you this. I can see there's a few questions coming up, which we'll come back to in a minute. Let me just show you this meeting, and I'll come back and answer some of these questions for you. So look, I'm just going to join this meeting. I'm going to stick on, hey, there's my ugly mug. Let's hit join. And look, see, we've got, do you want to show your face? Do you want to show the voice? You know, have your voice go on. You've also got this really clever thing, look, blur background. Can you see that? Let's say you're working from home and you're in your bedroom. You don't want people seeing things below. It's quite clever. Can you see? Look, it just kind of blurs everything out apart from me. I'm not got anything to hide there. But let's click join now. Now, so this is a little bit like Skype, really, to be fair. So hopefully Drew should be joining any moment now. I don't know whether Drew, he should come up and I should be able to see him. Hopefully. Here we go. Here comes Drew. Drew's just out in the corridor. There we go. There's Drew. Loving the fire symbol there. That's great. Drew's happy. Here we go. So here we go. So let's have a look at a few options we've got here. So can you see I've got my little pitch down there? This could be multiple people in the meeting. Yeah, doesn't have to be just a one-to-one. We can, I can turn this off, my camera, turn my, my microphone off. This one's really cool. Look, open share tray. Now I could share my desktop with Drew or anyone in the meeting. In fact, Drew, could you just share your desktop with me, please? Don't know if Drew's got his sound on. He looks happy. So the little, click on that sort of arrow with the square on. There we go. You've got to love when live TV goes a bit wrong. Here we go. So hopefully, if Drew, here we go. Can you see? I can now see Drew's desktop. I can actually, if I want to, request control as well. So I can actually say to Drew, I would like to get control of your desktop, move stuff. Can you see there, request control? Here we go. He's showing me his Teams. Can you see that's me chatting away? So it's really clever, this. Drew, could you remove the desktop so we're just looking at each other? And I don't know if you noticed, can you see we're still down the bottom, down there? So I tell you what, Drew, look, we sent you out in the cold for long enough. Do you want to come back in, buddy? I'm going to end this one here. There's also, you can also chat as well. There's a chat icon at the top. There's all sorts of stuff you can do. Let's just put this call down. I didn't show you it, but you can actually record that meeting as well. In my excitement of going through it, I forgot to do that. And if you record the meeting, it would actually put in this chat session with the meeting, the video recording of that meeting as well. Okay. So, and again, look, let's look at the general channel. Let's have a look. We've got all of the chat stuff. Can you see? There's the meeting. Yeah. So we can go and have a look at that. It tells you how long it lasted. Did it happen? All that kind of stuff. In the meetings, can you see there the 18 meeting still in there, so we can see what the crack is. Right, so got a few questions that have stacked up, and hopefully I should be able to answer them, because again, like I said, we are new to this a little bit, so anything that I can't answer will come back to you. So look, David's been waiting around a bit. So in conversations, how do you know when there's a new reply? Do you get a notification? Additionally, can you tag specific people? Right, so the things I know about, and this might be something that I go and research a bit more about and find out whether there's more that you can do with this. There's a couple of things you can do. First of all, when you get a conversation item coming, so let's take this one here. Let's go for Woodthorpe IT. Can you see this one here? I've got there's like a little symbol. If I hover over it, save this message. If I click that, what that does, that kind of tags that message. If I now go up to here and then click into this button here called saved, can you see it pulls up a list of anything that I've saved, so I can tag anything that comes into me that I find useful. Because obviously there could be a lot of stuff flying around, and this is my way of keeping that in one place. So again, look, I'm in a team. I like this chat in the breeze meeting. I want to keep that. Click onto that. Then at any point, go up the top, click onto this one called saved, and can you see it goes to the thread and it brings that up in there. The other thing that can happen is, so Drew, could you please send me a message and do an @? So if you come out of that, so they have these things, and I'll just type how this would work. So if, let's say I wanted something to definitely go through to Drew, I would say, what do you think about this? And then if I go @, so obviously if you were talking about someone in your organization, you'd be like Dave Smith, James Smith. So if I click contact us, that's Drew. If I hit send, there's going to be a notification come up for Drew. But if you want to send me something, Drew, with an @ in, can you see there, look, Woodthorpe IT Solutions mention you, that's Drew, so it comes up. Can you see there? It also in the, can you see in like the chat in the team, light red, I've got a little symbol there, it's a bit more emphasized. There's also as well, if I go to activity, this is, if you're in members of multiple teams, this is kind of stuff where you've been mentioned, kind of a good way of looking at a broad stroke of everything that's going on, where we've got the ability to like filter. Do you want to look at all of your mentions? Can you see this is where I've been mentioned specifically? So, Dave, I hope that sort of answers your question a bit, and we will look and see if there's a bit more stuff. But sorry, Drew's got.
So on a meeting, what I've just worked out is that obviously, if I go back to my thing and you edit it, and let's say that we change the time to 3 o'clock, because we know that you're busy today at 3 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
So then it shows you a schedule. So then if you type in the person's name, which is Ben, so you can show them this, and you click on scheduling assistant, it shows you the times that you're actually blocked out.
Yeah, this is a really good thing that live hot off the presses, Drew's been playing around when we sent him out into the wilderness.
And it does show that you are actually busy.
Brilliant. So what Drew's saying there, and I'm just going to mark Dave's answer done. Hopefully that answers your question, Dave. If you have got another question, just drop us an email at the end. Drew's sort of saying when you're scheduling meetings as well. Here we go. Let's go and schedule a meeting. So here we go. New meeting. If I come along and invite someone, so let's do contact us. Here we go. Can you see it tells me when Drew's free? These are the times when Drew's free. Also, if I hit scheduling assistant, can you see it comes up with all of Drew's calendar and it's telling me he's free? And if we try, similar to when you do a meeting request, it'll come through and kind of show you that as well. So there's, again, look, really, really clever features in here. If you're using Outlook already, it's going to kind of hook in with what you're already doing. So look, I'm sorry to, I've left a few people there hanging in the wind there. So Michaela, when you go to organise a meeting, well, let's show you who's busy before. Drew's a mind reader. Drew's a mind reader here. So that, yeah, Michaela, that's exactly what Drew has just been playing around with then, what I showed on the screen. When you schedule the meeting and you invite people, obviously. So let's see if I can find Gemma in there. I don't know whether she's using the calendar too much at the moment, but here, scheduling assistant. Yeah, Gemma's free. Jobs are good, and away you go. It can come up with free and busy time as well. Okay, so let's get rid of that. Hopefully that answers your question there, Michaela. Let's just mark that's done. So, David's back. David, another question. So, files, does it replace the previous version if the file has the same name? Additionally, can files be set up to open in desktop version rather than online version? So, I'm going to guess, and I will back this up by going and looking and finding this out for sure. And on the email that I send out to everyone with the recording, I'll find this out for sure. I'd be willing to bet that if your name or file the same, it's going to replace it. That's the first thing. I'll double check that first of all. Additionally, can files to be set up to open in the desktop version? Well, by default, I don't know. I would imagine it is a possibility, but let me show you here. If I go back to the team general, I'm going to go to my files. Let's go to this, the one here. If I click into it, it'll open it in Teams natively, so you can edit it here. And this is going to use Office Online. So this is quite good if you've only got Teams installed on, your computer you're on, so you don't have to have Excel. If I pop that one down, edit in Excel, edit in Excel Online. Okay. Now I can't talk to, because I think probably what you're asking there, David, is, is this something that we could default? So, when you click on a file, it opens straight in Excel. Can't talk to that right now because I'd be lying. I don't know the answer. But you can get it within a couple of clicks, and I will look at that to see if you can default it. But Microsoft being Microsoft, I'm sure where there's a will, there's a way. I hope that helps you. There we go, a couple more. Laura, can you see other team members' calendars in Teams? Oh, that's a good one. Let's have a look. Meetings, let's have a look, see. Looking at this, don't think you can. I am going to leave that as an open question, and I will come back and have a look at that and sort of, see if there's an answer to that. Looking at this straight off the bat, I don't think there is, but I'm not saying there isn't. I need to look into that. And then Richard, can you make calls outside of the... Yeah, really good question, Richard. So what Richard's asking is, can you make a call outside of the meeting function? So look, because this webinar is about Teams, I've focused on working as a team, right? There's loads more to this. The thing that I've ignored is this one here called chat. So chat, can you see now, comes up with people who are in my organization, yeah? So I can decide to, if I want to, come along and let's say Ed, right? Ed's one of my trainers. If Ed's using Teams, right? And Ed might be using Skype at the moment because we're kind of in a bit of a limbo period at the moment with this. But if Ed's using Teams, we can type a message directly to Ed, and that's outside a team. Can you see up here, I've got a video call. Can you see I've got a voice call? Can you see I've got share your screen? Yeah. We've got a files tab for Ed. Yeah. All sorts of things we can add in for Ed as well. So yeah, we don't have to do it within a team. We can break off, talk to other people as well outside of the team. So what I'm trying to, and it's a really good question actually, Richard, but can you see it's kind of like Skype on steroids? So the chat bit, that's kind of Skype really. And there's stuff to do with groups in Skype's fair enough. But this idea of collaborating together and being able to, work as a team, but also having that ability to go outside of the team. And I'll tell you something, one thing that I know they're getting better at Microsoft is they are trying to build in all of the telephony stuff. And so you'd be able to buy a call plan so you could make external calls. I think they've only started building that in the back end of last year. So I'd probably say it's not maybe something that you'd want to jump on board with straight away, but definitely for us, that's something we're going to be looking at when it all comes in, actually having our phone system built into this. Just to preempt any questions that I think might come, it's not so hot at the moment with external people. You can do it, you can invite guests. We've not really played around with that too much. So I think we might do a follow-up webinar where we try and involve maybe one of you to phone into a webinar on Teams and see how that works. But be under no illusion, this is something they're putting a lot of eggs into the basket for, because there's a lot of competitors doing something very similar, and Microsoft are getting really on board with this idea of working with Teams. So look, I hope that answers your question, Richard. Thanks for that. And look, brilliant. Laura wants to be a guinea pig. We'll add you to the list. Brilliant. So look, again, if anyone's got any questions, feel free to ask. I'm going to show you one very, very last thing, and I'm going to wrap up after that because I'm very conscious that I said it'd be 30 minutes, and because I've waffled on, it's gone a bit beyond that. In fact, one more question, and then I'll probably have to wrap it up after that. Dale's asked, does it all relate to groups? Right, so again, this might be we do a bit more research, and I'm going to say this based on my knowledge so far. When you create a team in Microsoft Teams, so let's look at creating a team. So if I click join or create a team, I'm going to click create a team. can you see here, we've got build a team from scratch. We've got create from existing Office 365 group or team. So just in case no one knows about this, in Office 365, in Outlook and other places, you can create things called groups. Groups are similar to teams. It's a collection of people. You can send emails, share stuff, that kind of thing. Now, Teams creates a group as far as I'm aware. You can also create a team and attach it to a group. So if you're already using groups, you can use what you've already got. Teams also create a SharePoint site. So to answer your question, Del, yes, it can work with your existing groups if you're already using them. So here we go. I don't know whether I've got any existing groups actually. Here we go, look, team. If we go to Office 365 group, here we go, I've got an Outlook group. So I could attach that to, the group in Outlook and create a team on that basis. Here we go, I've got another question from Dale. And thank you for the training. Oh, brilliant. Thanks, Dale. Cheers for that. Oh, by the way, we're actually trading at one of Dale's sites yesterday. So, no, thanks for the shout out. Much appreciated. Great team to work with. It's really, really good fun, actually, to be fair. Good cake as well. So, yeah, you can attach them to groups. Creating a team's really easy. You can create teams that are public, that everyone gets access to. You can make them private, so you only invite people. There's all sorts of different teams you can create and control how people access it. There's all sorts of ways of locking it down. What I think I'll do, I'm just going to show you one very, very last thing, and then I'm going to wrap up because, again, I'm conscious of time. And I think based on the kind of the vibing in the questions, I think we'll probably end up doing a follow-up webinar on this. And please feel free to drop me an email if you've got any questions as well. But there's one very last thing I do want to show you, which is really, really cool. In a team, what you can do is, if I hit the plus button there, so this is, along the top, we've got conversations files, this one called meeting notes. If I click a plus button there, these are called tabs. You can add stuff into tabs. So there's all sorts of stuff. Like, do you want to add in a SharePoint list? Do you want to add in a website? Do you want to add a Word document? Do you use Yammer? Do you want to put that in? You might use Zoho. Do you want to put something to do with Zoho in there? There's all sorts of other third-party software. And as I'm scrolling down, you might see stuff you're already using. YouTube video, do you want to add that in? You could add a tab with a YouTube video in. Microsoft are changing, really, to be fair. They used to kind of want to keep everything to themselves. Now they've realized that don't work. They want to get interested in working with everyone. So look at the level of stuff that we can just add in. But here's a really simple one. If I go to website, so I might put in here useful website. I'm going to add in, and I'm just, because obviously we all know it, HTTPS, google.com. And I'll get Drew to do this as well so you can see what happens when someone else does it. Post to channel. If I hit save, right, what that's going to do, can you see there, useful website comes up? Now I've got a tab called useful website. If I click onto that tab, can you see it's got that web page in? Also in the conversation, can you see there, it's now got, can you see there, it's posted it into the chat channel so everyone sees it. At the other end, if someone adds a tab in, it'll call it say new. So this could be like, let's say, take Dale, who's just mentioned, we've been in there doing some training. Dale's organisation, there's a lot of events going on that they put on for the community, and there's a website telling everyone about this. Well, you could have a link to that website as a tab with a list of all the events on it, so that people, while they're talking, can just go to that tab and see the events without having to go and open a web browser, and it's all live. And can you see that? Look, Drew's just added a new tab. Can you see website where it says new? So Drew's added a different tab in for me, and all the team gets this. If I click onto there, Drew's just added in Google again, but can you see anyone in the team can add it? Again, that you can lock this down, you can play around with it. It's not just websites. There's all sorts of stuff. There's loads of things you can put in there, and you can see all of the things you can add in. Right, I've waffled on a bit, so I think we need to do a bit of a wrap up. And I'm just going to sort of go through and, go over the bits that we've talked about just as a little bit of, an idea, a bit of a recap as to, what we've gone through. Also, probably in the next hour or so, what we'll do, we'll send you that recording as well. So you've got it, and you've got the one sheet wonder as well. So, look what we've gone through. We've talked about, why we want to use it, what it does. And also you can see we're not perfect with this. I've got trainers that are expert in this, but as a business, we're only just starting to use it. But it's a really good bit of kit, and it's going to save us a lot of time and effort. Bit about what it is. It's not the complete picture, but hopefully it should give you a bit of a flavour. We've talked a bit about, meetings, teams even, and what they are, way of collecting people together. We've talked about a bit about meetings and, sort of scheduling and how to do them, although there's way more than we've shown you today. And I've also talked a little bit about tabs. And luckily we've had a few people in here who've tag teamed and asked some really, really good questions and took us on some good tangents as well. So look, all that's left to do, one last plug. Remember, we can come and do this for you. And, if you want any more training on anything, just let us know. Also, we'll send you some more information. If you've got any questions in the future, just email contact us at woodthorpeit.com. That's contact us at woodthorpeit.com, and we'll be happy to help you. But look, have a really great weekend, and thank you very much for your time. Take care. Bye.